Borlos Reserve lies in Kafr Sheikh Governorate in the northern part of the Delta between Rosetta and Damietta. This natural reserve mainly comprises the Borlos Lake with all its numerous islands, in addition to the sand barrier which stretches for 65 kilometers to separate between the lake and the Mediterranean Sea. The reserve gained a lot of attention and international fame to the point that it was included in the Ramsar list of wetlands of international importance. The Borlos is the least polluted lake in the delta and the biggest in terms of size and number of fish inhabiting it, which reaches about 55,000 tons annually. The Borlos Reserve is considered the richest in Egypt as it provides habitat for a wide variety of living species, 700 of which are known species, 11 of them exist only in Egypt, while another 7 are listed as endangered species. According to the Decree 144 for the year 1998, the Egyptian Prime Minister announced it to be a natural reserve according to Law 102 for the year 1983. The Borlos Lake is the main and most essential part of the Borlos Reserve, and it is one of the 5 lakes that lie to the north of Egypt. From the eastern side there are Manzala and Berdawil lakes. On the western side lie Etko and Marut lakes. The latter is a semi-saline lake about 65 kilometers in length, connected to the Mediterranean Sea through the Borlos Strait, which is on the northeasternmost side of the lake. In the past, the lake was bigger in size than it is today. Because of land dehydration and reclamation, the size of the lake decreased by a rate of 8.6 kilometers square per year during 1983 till the year 1991. The lake now covers an area of 400 square kilometers, 370 of which unenclosed. The volume of water in the lake is around 328 million cubic meters. About 3.9 billion cubic meters of the total drainage water enter the lake through 9 agricultural ditches. This results in the rise and fall in the level of water in the lake. As for the islands that exist in the lake, there are nearly 50 islands covered heavily with plants. Islands divide the lake into 3 parts: the eastern, the middle, and western. Each part is characterized by certain chemical and biological qualities. The eastern and middle parts are separated by Muslim and Absak islands. The middle section comprises several big islands like El Kum El Akhdar, 9 square kilometers, and El Dakhla, 7 square kilometers. The western and middle parts are separated by Deshim El Faka and Abu Amr islands. The number and area of the islands differ from time to time due to the continuous process of sedimentation and flooding. In the natural reserve, farmers raise cows, buffaloes, sheep, and camels. The revenues were estimated to be about £36,611 million in 1999. However, the net revenue which every farmer gets is relatively lower because of the few number of cattle which every family owns and the low productivity of local cattle. Fishing is considered the main economic activity in Borlos. Fish productivity increased enormously during the last 2 decades. It amounted to 57,000 tons in the year 2001 after being 7,273 tons in 1982. This huge increase in productivity came about thanks to the increase in fertilizers and nutrients use, which reached the lake by means of agricultural drainages. In the 60s, the lake used to accommodate fish species that belonged to the salt seawater, while today it's inhabited by fishes that are usually found in fresh water. This is simply because the salinity of the lake has decreased. In spite of the fact that the productivity has increased in the past 2 decades, the quality and the size of the fishes are no longer up to the old usual standards, and thus there has been a drop in the revenues.
عايش في البحيرة بقالي 35 سنة ولسه أبا عن جد واخدها وراثة عن أبويا وعن
Fisherman
جدي وعن
Abderrabo explains that he starts work every day at 6 a.m. and continues in the waters till 2 p.m., whereby he between 10 to 5 pounds. Commenting on the fish size, Abderrabo said it was not big and the tools used allow you only to hunt for small-sized fish. When the weather turns bad and sandstorms erupt, fishermen move to the huts, which are lined with plastic covers to protect the people from the cold. These huts are supplied with tea and sugar and other necessary human needs. Abderrabo went on explaining that there are various boats in the lake, some are big, others are small, noting that everyone fishes freely and without the other, as the lake is government owned and is open for everyone to use. The number of fishermen has leaped from 9,000 fishermen in 1963 to 28,000 in the year 2000. However, the number of fishermen who have a fishing license does not exceed 10,000 to 66. The number of licensed boats has increased from 2,438 in 1963 to 9,665 in the year 2000. 153 of them are motorboats. In 2001, the lake's productivity reached 57,000 tons. Each ton is worth 5,000 Egyptian pounds. This makes the revenue approximately about 285 million pounds per year. Case studies indicate that the individual's income from reed trade is less than £1, which is a very low income in comparison to other incomes. The way reeds are cut affect the growth of the building reed and in turn the continuity of this trade. Cutting the reeds has both positive and negative effects. Their removal deprives some of the lake's living organisms of its natural habitat and environment, and thus results in a sort of imbalance. On the other hand, the removal of the reeds in some parts of the lake enhances its exposure to air, the flow of water, and the variety of fish species. The Borlos Reserve is a great example of the biological and environmental diversity, not to mention its commercial importance, both as a source of fish and as a tourist attraction. Therefore, officials should always be keen to work on improving and protecting this rich nature reserve.